Let's go ahead and get started. So tonight, Dionne is going to has a presentation. I have not seen it, so I am eagerly waiting to see what's going to happen here. And so let's give our attention to her. Thank you for putting something together, Dionne, and let's see if we can get something out of it.
Well, thank
Hopefully.
everyone for coming and um, please feel free to participate. I set this up expecting there to be input from you guys, so it's more of you, less of me. And here we go.
Hey, Dion, so far, I think you're doing a great job.
Thanks.
I
Yeah, I
wanted to
love
give
that
you some
encouragement.
input.
Yeah, you haven't screwed it up yet.
I love it. All the support.
Yeah, go back, go to slideshow.
Sorry, the Zoom controls are covering it. Hang on.
Go on that and just say start from the beginning, all the way over on the left. There you go.
Yep.
No,
Yeah. All
there we
right.
go.
So the topic tonight was inspirational skiing. And I was really excited about doing this topic when Gumby proposed it because it's something I've heard a lot about. In probably the last over a decade of my career as instructor about inspirational skiing, but no one has ever explained what that is. So my goal for tonight is to try and look at this and see what we can find out about inspirational skiing. Um, I actually think it's probably a bigger mystery than a lot of the other terminology we hear used. And so I have some ideas about what inspirational skiing might be. And uh-oh, it's not doing my links. Shit. Okay. So is it really cool short turns? Is it skiing off piste? Is it skiing in the park? Yes, there are actually videos that go with all these. I don't know why they're not playing.
Try like right clicking on them. No.
Nope.
Okay. Well,
All right, I practiced earlier, I promise. Um, or this. Is it doing crazy ski maneuvers on one ski? Or how about skiing hard and fast? Or is it this? Is this inspirational skiing? I mean, they're on green trails. And my question to you guys is inspirational skiing an external judgment or is it an internal one? And that's a real question. What do you guys find as inspirational skiing? Gumby, what's inspirational skiing to you?
oh, I was just thinking about that. I think for inspirational skiing for me is when I can look at a skier and clearly identify what they're trying to do and why they're trying to do it. And then of course I look at, that's my selfish aspect because skiing is the world's most selfish sport. what can I apply from what they're doing and into my own skiing so I can be more inspirational. And then that's pretty much it.
What about
I,
you, Scott? Oh, Kimberly, what do you find inspirational?
yeah, I think like being inspired is an internal experience. But what inspires me, well, the snow conditions, being in a beautiful mountain, with beautiful conditions and maybe some challenging hills. And then if I'm watching, I can be inspired by other people skiing, watching them, do those short radius turns down a black, watching somebody just make their way through moguls again, with ease and grace, and they look like it looks effortless. I think inspirational skiing often looks effortless, even though there's just tremendous skill behind all of that. Um, and sometimes it looks a lot of like there is a lot of effort, but there's a tremendous amount of skill there. And so I'm inspired by it. It encourages me to try to go to the next level, whatever that is. So I think that's it.
But I think it really depends. Are we talking about what inspires us or what is the skier, what inspires the individual skier? Um, and, the individual skier, I mean, I've worked with people with disabilities, and that was going to be my first career before I fell in love with OB. And it can be amazing that somebody that could never walk takes a step on crutches. So I think that it really depends on what the individual is doing, what their goals are, and what they're feeling internally.
So I love how you took it to other people, but for just a second, what inspires you? Like when you're in this big, huge ski world, so many ways to do this. What inspires you?
Right. So that's how I was thinking about it when when it was first inspirational skiing. And I think to me it would be someone said snow and beautiful place, but when it's like, wow, I just did connect my turns and that felt really good for me because I mean I can look at amazing skiers and go, wow, that's amazing, but that may make me feel more, well, crap, I'll never be there. But then that moment where you're just inside of yourself and it feels really good for you. So to me, I would prefer thinking of this as an internal judgment so that I'm not judging myself on any outside criteria other than it feels really good and beautiful and in the moment right then.
So that ties two ideas together, right? Rebecca was talking about what inspires people depends on where they're at. And you're talking about what inspires you depends on your feelings about it and whether you feel it's achievable or not.
Mhm.
I
This is
think
Jerry.
that's,
This is
yep.
Jerry. What
Yes.
what inspires me is, of course, uh, the wide open mountain, being able to just have the wind at your face and going down the hill. But as an instructor, it inspires me to inspire others to have the same thrill that I get out of skiing.
I think that's really cool. There's a whole bunch of different things coming through. There's stuff about feelings, there's stuff about visual aspects and how we can make ourselves better. So far, everybody has said something that at the end of it, it ties back to Gumby's statement that skiing is selfish. that there's something in it for us. And I don't necessarily think that's bad, because that goes to external versus internal, right?
How
And then
is,
Well,
so I
what,
want to ask a question. How is skiing more selfish than other sports? I don't actually find skiers particularly selfish. I would put that on rock climbers. So, which I was for many years before my tendons gave out.
or
So,
marathon runners, right?
I mean, right, anything that you have to devote yourself to is selfish. But I think that's okay. But anything, I mean, anything you want to be good at is selfish. So I don't know that I consider skiing the most selfish, because I do think it has a real social aspect to it that like you mentioned, marathon runners. I think that often may not have I don't know. I'm not sure if I won't compare those, but all sports are selfish, I think. All pursuits are selfish.
yeah, but
I'm not
skiing,
going to
Well,
disagree with that.
only
So,
on powder days
but
are
I am going to pull
selfish.
us back to inspirational skiing, because the selfish part that I want to focus on is inspiring us as individuals.
well, I think what maybe Gumby may refer to as selfish is that this is not a team sport by and large. It's we accomplish whatever we or our goals are individual and really it has nothing to do with being part of a group where we're contributing a cog to the machine. It's purely individual accomplishment, even in racing.
I'd like to kind of latch on to Jerry's point. I mean, he's looking at both from a singular standpoint of his own personal connection, and then also that idea of working with others. I am especially geeked and inspired when I can make a connection with a client and the movement of their changes. I get a huge kick out of that, and it inspires me to become, what can I learn the next time to become a better skier? That is inspirational too, but it's not necessarily about the skiing part for me. I mean, when I hear an inspirational skiing, it's, I think of it as something like well, maybe we could look at it like Laura's, son, right? He works with like really high end cliff jumpers and people in the park who are doing everything, right? And he's constantly getting pushed by people that are younger than he is, that are trying things that are maybe a little bit harder than he's ever thought about trying to do. I remember Laura saying something about that last year. These guys are so good. Well, that inspiration comes from the shoulders of somebody else. So they've probably been watching him do crazy stuff. They're like, well, how can I get a little bit more out of that? And I mean, and yes, that's selfish. I mean, I'm doing it for my own self gratification, but I'm also acknowledging the fact that someone else is actually pushing me to be better.
Is someone else, or you are pushing yourself to do more because you are observing somebody else? I think there's a difference there.
I can't ignore the fact that they're kind of synonymous, right? When I go out and ski with one of my mentors and I watch them tackling a hill that maybe is not quite something that I'm interested in doing at that particular moment, but I'm watching what they're doing and it's like, okay, they're inspiring me to be better, whether I like it or not. I need to do a little bit more, right? So that's an inspirational part also. I'm going to shut up now.
Oh, you don't have to shut up. Um, This conversation is fantastic, guys. I love how we're getting into how our inspiration relates not just to us, but to our community around us and to all the relationships that we form. Because we're going to use that in just a minute. Because the thing about inspirational skiing is it can be done two ways. Are we being inspired? Or are we striving to inspire? So are we trying to demonstrate inspirational skiing for others? Or are we trying to be the recipient of somebody's inspiration? And if so, what do we bring to the table for this? Gumby was talking about how he uses it to make himself better, to help other people have breakthroughs. Saw other people in the comments talking about how that's something that inspires them to keep working and keep going and keep learning, is getting people to have breakthroughs and seeing their experiences. Also heard a lot of talk about how amazing the mountain is, and just being out there and enjoying it is super inspiring. So what is it that we're bringing to the table?
Well, we're kind of role models. We trying to be in a good shape to demo certain movements. Also, we share our knowledge, and internal aspect of it would be like we train hard. We have community of friends, our mountains industry, which includes our lifestyle, and like we grow individually so we can present ourselves as a model for others and inspire others what we go through, like personal development challenges, like being healthy, strong, and learn new things ourselves first so we can pass it to our clients in the ski industry, in the ski school.
I think that's really well said, Anna, but I also think that part of it is empathizing with the challenges that our students have, because they do have challenges, whether it's terrain, whether it's a movement. And I think that part of our job as a successful coach is to empathize, let them know that we might have had the same problem, and then to encourage them to try to be better.
Or if not empathize, at least recognize.
Well, it's as part of our ski instructor, we're supposed to kind of evaluate skill level and make our students comfortable and create a fun environment for them to learn and explore new things. So with emphasis on fun and understanding of where their needs and wants are. So, yeah.
So I'm kind of hearing that we as instructors are the Rosetta Stones to help others aspire or gain their goals as well as ours. And as a Rosetta Stone, we need to be able to understand different languages, different ways to communicate, and has to be bidirectional or multi-directional.
I think that's a pretty thorough way of putting it. My belief is that when we talk about inspirational skiing and teaching, we're talking about it in terms of striving to inspire our students. The best learning experiences come with an element of challenge. If a lesson is too easy, people check out. If a lesson is too hard, people get discouraged. But if there's an appropriate level of challenge, and appropriate is the fun word there, we get successful learning, and it's learning through an experience rather than explanation, which makes it stick. So when we're striving to inspire, where does that inspiration go? Like, to where? Do we want to show them the best skiing they've ever seen in their entire life? Or maybe like Laura, that's too much. Oh, I'll never be able to do that. That's really cool and all. If I had gotten the links to play, you would have seen I found a guy who's on he's a Red Bull athlete, and he kicks off one ski as he enters into the park, slides rails on one ski, puts them back on after some other stuff, goes off jumps, flips upside down, takes his ski on and off as he's doing this, so half the time he's on one ski. That is pretty darn cool. I don't want to learn to do that.
I think we got kind of a same question in a different way. Actually, it's not really a question. Kimberly's been pretty motivated to do a lot of this in the chat, but the last comment she says is, I think we need to stay inspired and act on that inspiration, challenge ourselves to be able to inspire ourselves and others.
Oh, there's a cool idea.
Wait a minute. So Kimberly, can you expand on that verbally?
Yes. And, I've just noticed this in all the main sports I'm passionate about, yoga, skiing, mountain biking, is that I get dull and get into a routine, kind of stale way of teaching if I'm not staying inspired by challenging myself and breaking through barriers and that kind of thing. So I don't know if that's just my personality, but I have to keep studying and learning and challenging myself to stay fresh. So even if I'm skiing the same mountain here in Maryland that I've been skiing for 20 years, if I'm working on something and I'm learning from people and I'm up in my game in understanding, learning, practicing, then I can be really inspired uh, skiing that mountain and teaching people at that mountain.
Rebecca,
So I
you
think
have
that's
your
what I'm
hand up.
saying. I get stale otherwise. I get into a routine way of doing things that isn't fresh and alive like it is when you're constantly figuring things out and making breakthroughs and learning new things because you're just passionate about doing it. So you're doing it a lot.
Rebecca, did you have
Yeah.
something you wanted to add?
Yeah. I like my first women's summit. The mantra for that summit was Inspire Spark. And in a way, in order for us to inspire somebody else, we have to be inspired. We have to feel that inner joy, and that gets transmitted. It's like if we're not really in the mindset of we love what we're doing, we could be technically wonderful, we could be absolutely great communicators, but what really communicates is the joy that we feel. So I think it's that inspiration is our inner joy of we love whatever it is that we're doing. That gets transmitted more than the jumps and the everything else. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, no, it makes sense. So
100%.
what I'm hearing from both of you is that an open learning mindset where we stay fresh and we keep our own passion alive helps us transfer. We can bring that to the table for our lessons to help them be inspired.
Yeah, I got something to add to that. I'm thinking about, I'm listening to everything everybody said, and I think about when I'm in the locker room at 4:30 at night, and I'm hearing everybody tell about their day, and the enthusiasm and excitement I hear when somebody explains how they helped somebody have a breakthrough and how happy their student was, and just the energy that people that are telling the stories, there's this sense of pride of, look what I was able to do today. And you can just, they kind of radiate inspiration because they've done a good job at their job and they've helped somebody and it helped them feel better. To me, that's a lot of what this inspiration is about.
I can run with that.
I like that.
So this is tying back to the idea that PSIA puts out for people skills. And if inspiration, to go back to what Rebecca said earlier, is really individual, all of us seem to share some inspiration that we get from our students and from just being there and from being in the outside. But at the same time, we don't know for sure what anyone is bringing to the table. So what do our students bring to the table, and how do we find out what that is? PSI has some great models for that. There's guest-centered teaching, where we're going to look at their motivations and understandings. There's Maslow's, so we can look at where they are on just their basic needs. Are they afraid? How does the group dynamic fitting in? If it's too much, are we going to crush their self-esteem? Is it an achievable outcome? I think the most inspirational skiing and the most inspiration we can give our students is linked to their thought that it's achievable. We also don't know what past experiences they're going to be bringing that might influence their inspiration, what they might find inspiring. So if everyone can take 1 second and think back to learning something new, a physical thing, whether it's changing a tire, snowboarding, skiing, tellying, unicycling, it doesn't matter. Why did you want to try it? And what made you keep trying it? Because no one is successful at anything the first time. What as a student were you bringing to the table?
Dionne, I think that achievability is really important. I know when I started mountain biking, I didn't know I was following people. I didn't have any idea I didn't have the right bike, and I did 2 endos. I went over the front, and I was like, I thought I'd really enjoy this, but I don't want to do this every time I'm out. So I didn't do it for 20 years. And then I had a friend who was really passionate. She was racing, and she lent me her bike, and she taught me what to do, and that made it achievable. And even though I was terrified, I started to have moments of joy, and and then I got hooked, and just kept going.
That is fantastic. Anybody else want to share something? Anybody maybe we haven't heard from?
This is Jerry. I'll just share a little bit about when I first learned to ski. I had never been an athlete in grade school or high school, but I was taking classes at Missouri Western State College, and they had a week ski class in Colorado, and I figured if they can do it, I should be able to do it too. So got 1 hour PE credit. I signed up, went out, and long story short, I just got hooked. I just followed the group and took the lessons that were required, and just got hooked the whole entire 40 passenger bus went down an expert slope on the last day to pass their exam.
And I'm assuming you made it to the bottom, Jerry, because you're still here.
I am still here, thank you. And I passed the class, so.
Woohoo! So, what are some things that our guests might bring?
Oh, I wanted to say,
Everything.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Laura. Go for it.
So I am doing something this summer that sounds so silly, but I absolutely love it. I just took up pickleball, and it's just so fun. And I have like all this history of believing that I couldn't do any racket sports. Came from a very tough dad who was like, "You've got to hit that tennis ball. What do you mean you can't hit that tennis ball?" And so I always backed away from those things. And then this summer, one of my much younger girlfriends was having a pickleball birthday party. And I was like, I'm not even going to bring tennis shoes because there's no way I'm going to do it. And I watched for like 15 minutes, and I went into their like little pro shop and bought like pickleball shoes so I could get on the court because it looked like it would be so fun. And now I've taken all these classes and I've signed up for open play, and it's so I think I'm tying this into past experiences that if you've had past experiences which have taught you that you're not good at something, or you're not going to be able to succeed, or it's not achievable, the individual, and hopefully with a good instructor, they have to really get over that to switch from that I can't mindset to not only is this achievable, but this could be really fun. Like I could kind of love this if I can get over my past negative experiences with this in this zone.
That sounds fantastic. Iona, what did you have to say?
So this summer, I started to take figure skating lessons, and I had not properly figure skated ever before, but I thought it might be good off-season training for skiing with edge. Not so much. That edge is so tiny, but nonetheless, I am enjoying it. I have a coach who's a former Olympic ice dancer, and I have group class with two other gals every week, and I get on the ice and I practice myself. And so it's an enjoyable sport, but I have had some pretty severe falls in that, but I've picked myself up and knocked the fear away and continued. So I think I can equate that to students, of course, who get on their skis and they're terrified because it's sliding and the snow is slippery and they don't know how to control themselves, much as I began and currently do feel at times on the ice.
Anybody else?
Like my personal experience comes from failure. Like if you try really hard and something you can't do, but you see others performing really well and effortlessly. Like yesterday, I mountain biked on enduro terrain with my two friends who are like a little bit over 70, and they just like go down rocks and boulders and like so effortlessly. And like I walk that part. I can't, like I have so much fear to go. And they said, well, let us break it down. Let's do section. You'll do this, we'll stay, we'll spot you, like do this. And it was so easy. I couldn't believe I did it. So the same with our students. When I get a student, like I said, what makes you take a lesson? And sometimes they say, well, we just keep falling. We can't, keep up with our friends. We have that some women have fear to go with their husbands on like more challenging terrain. And through failure and fear, they come to realization that you have to like either get knowledge and somebody experienced to explain to you how to do it and like get better. So I think a lot of people, like because of their first failure, because it's a challenge and it's hard to like get that action going and make a first turn or first start. It's like so hard for them. It inspires them to talk to others and try to learn new things. So, and try to push yourself to out of comfort zone to and when you push yourself out of comfort zone and it works, you get so happy with yourself that you actually was able to achieve something. And when in skiing somebody comes down through the tree run effortlessly, through the bump runs, or even icy terrain with stops and control, they all get confidence and they want to come back and do it again and be in that environment and do it more and more because it's fun and it's in the same time it's challenging. So, but you have to fail many times to get to that point. So, yeah.
So I'm loving hearing from you guys. What I'm hearing is there's a chance they've got negative past experiences that we might need to discover through conversation with them and getting to know them, get them to open up and trust a little bit and share that with us so that we can build experiences to help them overcome, so that we're breaking the switchback down into pieces and we're breaking the rock part down into pieces so that we're not asking you to do a triple lux on your ice skates right out of the gate because, oh, never mind. Or, you know, knowing that you're going to have to go buy shoes because all of a sudden it looked fun. And that's the other element that I heard is there's an element of fun. If it's not fun or it doesn't look fun, we lose some of that motivation to keep going. That's a big drive for people to face challenge is going with their peers in a way that seems fun. Anybody have anything to add to that?
Well, in the children's manual, I don't know if it's in the adult, there's like different kinds of fun. There's easy fun and there's hard fun. And I think that when we address our clients, we need to figure out what kind of fun they're looking for.
Yeah. What's going to inspire them? Is it easy fun or hard fun? If you hit type 3 fun, well, that's a rough day. Just remember, type 3 fun.
Yeah.
So type 1 fun is it's just fun. Type 2 fun is hard fun. It's hard while you're doing it, but it's still fun. Type 3 fun, it's not fun while you're doing it, but it's fun afterwards when we talk about it. Like kids will talk about that from their crash, and you'd think that the crashing was the most exciting, best thing that ever happened to them because they share that story and they are so enthralled with the fact that they crashed. And they enjoy the fact that they crashed after the fact. And then type 4 fun is it's not fun while you're doing it. It's not fun afterwards. It will never be fun. But it's still something you do because it gives you a sense of achievement.
Yeah, sometimes it is fun eventually.
Eventually,
I've
10
some
years from now, it might be.
Well, I've done some 14ers that weren't really fun at the time because it was scary, and they weren't really fun at the end because it was exhausting. But then you give yourself a week, and then it was pretty damn fun.
Yeah. That's definitely type 3 fun. So that's part of what we need to find out from our guests, right? As part of what's going to inspire them. Why does that matter? If they have all these different pieces that could impact what they find inspirational. What's that mean for our lessons?
How are you going to build a learning connection unless you understand your student unless you have an idea or comprehend their profile.
Exactly.
That's why it matters.
Matters 110%. The lesson I give today to Laura is not going to be the same as the lesson I give to Rebecca, and it's definitely not going to be the same lesson I give to Chuck.
And
could be.
equally important is understanding as a coach, your behavior.
Yeah, I have to know about me and about my behavior and about how I view challenge so that I can frame the conversation going forward. So there's a lot of self-knowledge there involved in the people skills.
I really like what Kimberly wrote here, which is it appears to hard
Too hard.
it appears to be hard takes the fun away from me. It needs to be a challenge. I think what she meant was I think it needs to be a challenge that even though I think I might have a chance of succeeding at it.
Yeah. Yeah. If
Goes
it
back
feels
to
too
that.
hard, then I
It can't be
tend to
too
give
hard.
up, or it makes it,
Exactly.
I'm too afraid.
Yeah, the challenge has to be the right amount of challenge. So if Michaela was going to be teaching me to ski and she came down hip to snow and said, yeah, this is what we're going to learn to do today, I would immediately be even more anxious than I was just meeting her. Because I'm not sure I can do that. So if the challenge is too high, if it's too much of an inspiration, it can put us off. How do I know what what we're bringing to the table, both as an instructor and as a guest, as a learner? There's all sorts of models that PSIA gives us to help us figure this out. What about our nonverbal communications? What do people look like when they're shutting down? Where are they looking?
The ground.
The ground, away. Do they sometimes take actually a shuffle step out or back? Do they kind of close off their body language? Their arms stay tight to their torso, maybe even crossed? Now, these are generalities. You have to read your situation. How talkative are they when they're shutting down?
Quiet.
What about when they're starting to be inspired? What
Their energy
changes?
picks up. They get more animated.
They start to move. They start to talk. They might look at you. They might look around. They might ask questions. There's a sense of excitement that comes across in their nonverbal communication. How do you mirror that to them? If I'm really reserved and quiet and keep my whole hands into my body, my goggles down, it can be pretty hard to read. Do I seem excited if I'm standing there like that, introducing myself? Hi, I'm Dionne. Going to be your instructor today. We're going to learn to ski. It's fun.
What are you talking about? That's
You will
exciting.
fall down. When you fall down, I will help you put your skis back on.
Exactly.
It is cold. If you
You're
leave
gonna
your
have fun,
gloves
damn it,
on,
whether you
you
like it
will
or
stay
not.
better. If
Are we
you
having
take your
fun yet,
mittens
damn it? You're
off, you
supposed to be
will be
having fun.
cold. Yeah.
This is
So
fun.
It's fun, damn it.
Oh yeah.
When I get a student or a group of students before me that I've not met before, typically my first question to them is, what is it you would like from your lesson today?
Why do you ask that question, Mike?
It helps me to better to be able to meet their needs and discover ways to meet their needs rather than just showing up with a pre-boxed lesson plan.
Oh, so it's going to take your lesson in a different direction, perhaps. You thought you were teaching a learn to ski lesson, and it turns out they're all hockey players, and they're all 20, and they all want to have lunch with their friends at the bottom of the other side of the mountain.
And I've done that.
Or it's their only day to be in Colorado, and they want to see the top of a mountain.
I would love to do that in Colorado with them, but
So
a little farther east.
that is my go-to question. What do you want to do? What do you want to get out of your lesson? What would you like to accomplish? Is there any goals that you want to? And oftentimes with my adults, but with my students, with my younger students, I'll adjust the question. But what do you do for a living? What's your favorite school subject? What do you like to do outside of work? What do you like to do outside of school?
So all of those are great questions. I'm going to make sure that you guys go one step farther. Not just what do you want to get out of today? Why do you want that? This can go back to your CS and your kids training. Why do you want to keep up with your friends? Why do you want to make it down this green run? What's so important? What's the real driving factor? Maybe it's I've had kids who like, Dad says I have to be able to ski blue runs and have poles before I can learn to snowboard. They have no interest in skiing. This is a box. We are checking this box so that we can go learn to snowboard, which is where our real passion is. That's why I want to work on my turns today. Maybe I want to keep up with my husband. Why? We don't actually do that much stuff together anymore because we both have full-time jobs and the kids have all these sports. So since the kids are up here and my husband's up here, it might be the only time we actually have something that we do together. Or my kids have all these sports and all these school commitments, and they really love to ski, and I just want to be able to do something with them. It's not about the skiing. So find out why they want that. Why do they want to go learn to ski bumps? Why do they want to go to the park? And my last couple of slides are I wanted to bring this back to us as instructors. Because the route of an instructor, sometimes it's a long haul. Anybody ever feel like it's a walk uphill? A very slow one with a very heavy pack? Maybe somebody has boot packed it before you. Has anybody heard that their skiing should be inspiring when they go to certification? I know Chuck's heard it. I know Scott's heard it.
What are you talking about?
Mike's heard it. Yeah, our skiing's supposed to be inspiring. But inspiring to who? So we heard some of the stuff where we found inspiration from our communities earlier when I asked you what you guys thought was inspiring. Nature, our guests inspired us, helping them get breakthroughs, our training groups, when we go skiing with our friends. Rebecca talked about the Women's Summit. Gumby talked about seeing videos or going out with mentors. All of these things are things that we can find inspiration from. There are also books, other sports. But I have something else I'd like to share with you.
Nice selfie, Dionne.
Thanks.
Winning is a strange feeling. For some, it's a trophy, a podium, a summit. Proof that we are above the rest. I don't see it that way. The moment you cross the line, it's already behind you. For me, every finish line moves the horizon. Further, steeper, faster. More precision, more speed, more intent. When you are a racer at heart, you're never really racing others. You are chasing the rider you are becoming. That's why every time I get on my bike, I don't think about what I have won. I only think about what's ahead of me. Scott, be in the now.
You know, it's awful hard to be in the now if you're thinking about what's ahead of you and what's behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of those encourage you to be in the now.
So the quote I like best from that is, "You're chasing the rider you are becoming." That's who we're competing against, is the person we are becoming. When we're going to certification, when we're out trying to be a better skier in whatever format that is to you, that's what I picture in my head, is I am being better. I'm going for the person I am going to become. And then it doesn't matter if I'm on a green trail, a blue trail, a black trail, if I'm learning to ski on one ski or in a sit ski or on a snow go. Better than who I was. So, what kinds of inspiration actually move us forward? And are we moving forward to a new place tomorrow? That's my question for you guys. Is all of these things that we listed as inspirations for us, are they moving us forward, or are we staying in the same place running? Is it actually inspiration? Or is it just overload? I can read every book written about skiing. It may not make me a better skier. It may not make me a better teacher.
Well,
Maybe. Depends
I'm
how I
going to
use
disagree with
it.
that. So I think part of that idea of inspirational skiing is that we understand what we're looking at and why it's important to us. I'm going back to the selfish stage again, because
That is
that's where
fine,
I
Gumby.
exist. Um, but the idea that we're looking at something and we understand why it's inspirational to us helps us teach, because now we're have an understanding of what it is that we're trying to do for that particular situation. So, such as if I'm looking at a Richie Berger video and I'm like, how's that guy keep his legs so close together? Right. And then I start to analyze it and I'm like, I have the deep depth of understanding to know that he is literally standing on the outside ski, even though it doesn't look like it. And now I'm looking at the movements that are required for him to do that. I have that understanding that may not be happening, say, to me like 6 years ago. And I can take that knowledge and I can apply it to my teaching now. But the opposite is also true. If for instance, 6 years ago, me was looking at Richie Berger, was like, I wonder how he keeps his skis so close together, and I would be misapplying the movement that I've analyzed that makes it inspirational by just saying he must just keep his feet close together.
Squeeze your legs tighter together.
Just keep your
No
feet
tip
together.
lead.
That's all you got to do. It's to make really cool turns is keep my feet together.
Yep, put a glove between your boots. It'll be fine.
Exactly. So that would be a misapplication of what my understanding is for that particular time. And it takes me that broader understanding later on to realize that would be a huge mistake, right? Because in order for me to keep my feet together, I almost have to be back in my skis in order to allow me to do that, which robs me of a lot of other fundamental movements that I need to have just for that visual aspect of keeping my feet together. So that inspiration piece of understanding what I'm looking at is important for the teaching part of it too.
Yes. That's one of the things we have to bring to the table as instructors
Absolutely.
is technical understanding. So
Yeah.
that we're not just looking at something that's inspirational and not applying it, not reaching the goal. I could also say, oh, the reason Richie skis so well is because of his poles.
And his ability to handle all the fundamentals in ways that are beyond our ability right now, right? Because he's
Or
practiced it for so long, right? And
I
and
could say that, we could pick any detail and be like, so if I just keep my arms forward and use
Mhm.
my poles faster, I'll be able to ski like Richie.
I think that is an amazing point. One thing that he does really, really well. He has a very, very good active upper body that allows him to keep it very, very still, which allows him to make accurate turning underneath, which allows him to keep those feet together because he has that ability to pressure the outside ski appropriately when he needs to. And that's the level of knowledge that we need to get to in order to understand what he's trying to do. Otherwise, all we see is, well, the guy has just got his feet close together all the time, right?
Well,
Or conversely, we can walk around like zombies with our arms out.
what you're talking about is the difference between an expert and a master. Because we
Yeah.
could mimic movements and look like we know what we're doing. But if we don't have the understanding of why we're doing it, then we're just robots or marionettes.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Which is why this group exists, is to broaden our understanding so that when we do look at someone like a Richie Berger, that we go, okay, cool. That is really cool skiing. What are the things he's doing that allows him to do that, and looking at it from a broader picture instead of, oh, well, he keeps his skis together and he's got his arms out just like so, and, blah, blah, blah. All those, those things that are visual that we see, but aren't really the underlying mechanical movements that we really need to have. They're just visual cues.
So technical understanding is one of the things we need to bring to the table. An open mindset is one of the things we need to bring to the table. We also need to bring all of our people skills and brush up on them so that we're recognizing, if not always empathizing with any struggles that our guests are having. Are we seeing the struggle bus before it's a crash?
Yeah. So for Kimberly, this is a great example. You successfully did downhill switchbacks today.
Mhm.
And that is the broad picture of I did this cool thing today, right? What was the underlying thing that you did differently that allowed you to do that?
Yeah.
You started with staying on the bike.
Yeah. I didn't let my I navigated my turn a little differently than I usually do.
Oh, cool.
And I
How?
definitely, looked where I wanted to be, turned my torso where I wanted to be, and just went for it.
Okay. Can you be more specific?
Um,
I got a little heavier in the front so I could have the grip and then lighten the back so that maybe I could
I don't know, I'll have to
the
watch myself
tail
up
end
the
come
next
around a
time.
little quicker or I mean those are things that I'm thinking about as you're doing that.
I think
Or
I was mostly practicing steering. And,
Yeah.
I'm up on my level pedals, so I'm off my seat. And before I even rode, I just go and round, making smaller and smaller circles, seated and standing up one way, and then I go the other way. And that also seems to help.
Oh, so it's a balance thing.
It's, um,
balance and a steering thing.
yeah, I guess it's a
Yeah.
little bit of both.
Yeah,
Overcoming
cool.
fear, balance, and steering.
Yeah.
And just seeing what my bike can do. It can do a lot more than I have been, that I have the experience to try yet.
Trust me, I have a crappy bike. It can do a lot more than I can do too.
So thanks everybody for participating. Remember to take this idea of being inspiring at the right level so that we can find out what our guests can achieve. And that level might vary from guest to guest, depending on their idea of fun. Brush up on what you need to bring to the table to be inspiring, but don't forget to be inspired. But make sure that your inspirations are moving you forward, at least not necessarily always in a straight line. Sometimes we learn to telly, sometimes we learn to snowboard. We learn things from learning things outside of the straight line. Be inspired, be inspiring. That's what I got.
Thanks, Dionne.
Mhm.
Any
Thank you.
questions?
No, but I got a statement.
Go.
The past few weeks, you guys have gotten 3 different good presentations with 3 distinct personalities behind them, all of them providing a lot of knowledge. But not one of them was textbook, as it were. All the pieces were there, but all the personalities were different. So it's okay to let your personalities come out when you're doing presentations, when you're doing teachings. It doesn't have to be black and white. There can be gray areas in there as long as all the information comes out. So I would suggest that on the 3 different pieces, find the parts of the different presentations you like and what can you do to cultivate them into your own presentations. Just a thought.
And hopefully we didn't put you guys to sleep.
Mm-mm. No.
Not immediately.
Not immediately.
Well, I'm glad you got a nap, Mike.
I listened to everything you say, Dionne, and it ended up, I don't know if everybody caught it, but there is a lot of things that goes into how people want to define inspiration. And one of those pieces is a goal. And another one is the understanding that to obtain a goal, there's more than one way to get there, and there might be a lot of steps to get to the goal. And one of the underlying pieces for a lot of this is curiosity, which makes us take that first step for something we might want to pursue. And I'm a firm believer in curiosity and maintaining that curiosity even as you get more winters under your belt, because that's a direct tie-in to your inner child, which keeps you young forever.
I think that curiosity and helping try new things and revel in new experiences as we go through different phases of our lives is super important if we want to enjoy, not just survive each part of our lives.
There's a quote out there from a science fiction author that I use a lot, and the character is named Lazarus Long. And his quote is, "To enjoy life, take big bites. Moderation is for monks." So when you try, keep that curiosity up and try it. You don't know if you're going to like it or not, but you got to try it and yield to that curiosity.
Also, I would like to add that I really like this topic because we always think like to be better people and try to work hard. Like the quote was, "I will be better who I will become." Also, like I probably won't sleep all night. I'll be thinking because it's just also we have to be self-aware and kind of accept the fact who you are now, where your strengths and weaknesses are, and understand also it's in students, because some students are brought to us not by their own choice, but by parents, and sometimes they have no interest to learn new things. And how would you motivate them? How to find something to interest them, to engage them in skiing? So it's another topic because some kids do not want to participate in skiing by choice.
Well, but our challenge is to make it interesting enough that in spite of themselves, they have fun and actually enjoy it. And I think that we've all had that experience. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And oh, I'm having so much fun. Um, so that's our job, is to make it interesting and relevant so that people that don't think that it's interesting do get interested.
So, yeah, that's part of the inspiration part, right? How to make it fun, how to find out what their motivations are. How can we make it special? Those are the hardest lessons when we're not quite sure they want to be there. I really appreciate every one of you taking time out of your Sunday night to move forward and listen to us talk about kind of a deep topic, inspiration.
Very deep, yeah.
Well, thank you, Dionne, for putting it
Thank you.
together and really making us stretch ourselves. That in itself is inspiring.
Ditto.
Just keep thinking, guys.
Good night.
Thank you very much, Dionne.
Thank you.